Well, I think when I read that question, the first thing that came to mind was the exhibit that I talked about that I was able to do when I first came back here to West Virginia on African American history. And so, I spent a lot of time talking to people about the exhibit and going around the different venues and talking to the board here at the Historical Society about it. And so shortly after that, Katherine Johnson um, of NASA fame became well known, and the movie came out. Forget the name of the movie right now.
Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures came out, and so one of my board members went to the movie, and she came out and she said, "Janice, you know what? Your exhibit helped me understand more what I saw in that movie." And that made me feel good. That made me feel, it made me think that, you know, it's all about education and awareness. And that's what it told me, that that exhibit had opened her mind up, had helped her, put her in a position where she understood discrimination a little bit more. And then when she went to see Hidden Figures, she could identify with it when she saw it. Because I always think about how whites, they go to these types of movies and they see those things happening. What do they walk out of the movie thinking? What do you really feel? What did you really learn? And I think not just for the movies, but I always wonder sometimes when I'm in conversations, like when people go through the Black History exhibits, I'd like to know what is going on in their heads. Do they really understand? Do they really grasp what's going on or what happened or not? So that, when she told me that, it made me feel good that something had made a difference to her. And so that's what I thought of.
So Janice, I heard you talk about a time at the Historical Society that one of your colleagues told you that she had gone to see the movie, the Hidden Figures movie, and that she told you afterwards that having seen it after seeing your exhibit had really helped her, kind of gave her like a framework where she could understand and identify more with what the character was going through, what the real person might have been going through.
Right.
And that made you feel like that the exhibition had really done something, had really made an impact on this person, and it kind of helped them appreciate the history better, and that you had always kind of wondered, like, what do like white people that go to these exhibits or go to movies about important Black characters, like what are they actually getting out of it, or how do they feel about it? And it was nice to kind of get to hear her, have her tell you back, yes, I really appreciate your exhibition. It really helped me, and it really helped me appreciate the movie as well, and understand what this woman's life was probably like.
Right.
Yeah, helped fill in some of that story for her.
Right.
Yeah, no, just thinking back what I was saying about what do people not know about my culture. I think that there's like a funny thing, and my dad did this too. Speaking of like people that are children of newer immigrants, his family was from Ireland, and there's this kind of like, well, we're the exception. We were Irish, so we didn't do that stuff. And it's like, yeah, you guys did stuff. Like, maybe you weren't here early enough and you weren't rich enough to own people, but you did a lot of bad things too. So yeah, I think that like, I think people do know that like a lot of white people feel defensive and feel ashamed and feel like they have to fight back because they don't know how to handle the negative emotions around it, or they feel like there's like a view of the world that there's only this big of a pie, and that we've had 80% of it, and if we give any, it just means there's less pie for us, which makes me, it's the different than thinking about it like the world is abundant, like doing farming, getting involved in farming stuff. It's like there's there's enough food for everyone. The problem is distribution, so that, the world is abundant. There's enough space and opportunity for everyone. It isn't that if you take from us, then, if they get it, that's something that we lost, So I think that that's something I think a lot of people are scared about. A lot of white people are scared about when this stuff comes up. Both they're embarrassed, they feel shame, but they also feel fear of that their family's not going to have what they need. So, yeah.
Yeah, then what I heard you say was that your father was an immigrant from Ireland, and which and he felt that, well, they didn't, and his family didn't really have anything to do with slavery or anything around racism, and more than likely did not directly. But then and that a lot of white Americans do feel embarrassed and ashamed, and they kind of feel like talking about it or admitting to it, it would be like they feel like something would be taken away from them by saying that well, African Americans have this, which is kind of really, I hadn't heard that concept. And one of the things that always sticks in my mind was when I was a very little girl, I always wanted to be a ballerina. I loved to dance. And I would run around the house, acting like I was a ballerina all the time. And so one day, my mother and I were walking downtown Lewisburg, and we passed this little dance school. And, they had the window, and you could walk past it on the sidewalk, and you could see inside little girls in there dancing. And so I said to my mother, "Oh, Mom, that's something I want to do. I really want to, go to that school and learn how to dance and be a ballerina." And she said to me, "No, no, no, you can't go. Little colored girls can't go in there." And I remember that like it was yesterday.